Welcome back to the final part of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, HD Edition. For those of you who haven't seen the previous stuff, there's a whole ass 4-part series currently on YouTube that you can watch. I'm going to link it in the chat if you want to see the rest of the story. However, we're going to do a patented Skye Blacke tries to explain what the fuck is going on in Metal Gear in a few minutes. Okay, let's do this. So this game takes place 4 years after the events of the first Metal Gear Solid. The prequel, however, takes place 2 years before the main part of the game. In the prequel, it's revealed that Snake and Raiden are now working as basically independent Snake and Otacon are working as independent agents who are taking down Metal Gears around the world from various government and private organizations after the specs for Metal Gear Rex got leaked by Ocelot at the end of Metal Gear Solid 1. So they board a tanker and get seen doing so to take down the Marines Metal Gear Ray. However, the tanker is suddenly attacked by some Russian mercenaries and Ocelot, who kill everyone on board, and then Ocelot betrays the Russians and steals the tanker. Yeah, 2 years after that, the tanker, a second tanker, or basically, not 2 years after, right after that, the US government sends a second tanker to that location, the tanker that was hiding Metal Gear Ray, and sinks it, creating an oil spill. And they create a place, effectively, known as the Big Shell for environmental cleanup. 2 years after that, a group of former US Special Forces soldiers go rogue and kidnap a bunch of people on that facility and demand a bunch of money. And so the US government sends in Foxhound agent known as Snake. However, it's not Solid Snake. He died in the tanker incident, or was presumed dead in the tanker incident. And this person's codename is changed to Raiden upon arrival. Raiden is a complete rookie. He has run a lot of simulations in VR, including Shadow Moses, but he's never actually been on the field before. On the other end is Colonel Campbell from the first game, and his data analyst and also girlfriend, Rose. Raiden progresses through the Big Shell, trying to rescue the President of the United States and stop the terrorists. It is basically revealed as the story goes on that the reason Raiden here has been a complete fabrication. The terrorists are real, but they're not demanding a bunch of money. Instead, they want to launch a nuclear missile to disable all electronics over Washington, or not over Washington, over New York, in order to throw the world into chaos. And they're doing it from the Big Shell, which is not actually an oil cleanup thing, but a really fucking big Metal Gear with an AI in it called GW, which was created by a shadow secretive organization called the Patriots, who are attempting to Illuminati shit, control the world via controlling the internet. Raiden has not actually been sent in by Foxhound, but has been instead sent in by the Patriots, and has in fact never been communicating with the Colonel or Rose, but GW, the AI, has created fake versions of them for Raiden to communicate to. The Patriots are, not the Patriots, the Dead Cell, the terrorist organization, are revealed to have been led by former US President George Sears, who was outed because he wanted to actually be a president rather than just something that the Patriots has positioned in power. And he is also the third clone of Big Boss, brother of Solid Snake and Liquid Snake. Solid Snake is revealed to have also infiltrated the Big Shell and was posing as a guy known as Iroquois Pliskin, and it's just recently been revealed that he is Solid Snake. Ocelot has had Liquid Snake's arm grafted onto him, and occasionally when in the presence of Solid Snake, Liquid's personality possesses Ocelot, and he becomes Liquid Snake again. I think that's everything. It's all a simulation. Nothing's real. Odocon's sister has just died. Emmerich. Oh, and all of this, so the government facility pretending to clean up waste, a US mercenary group going rogue, an agent being sent by Foxhound called Snake to fight another agent who is also calling himself Snake. Shit with the Metal Gear. There is a cyborg ninja who is revealed to be Olga Grulugovich rather than Grey Fox from the previous game. Olga being the daughter of the Russian mercenaries from the prequel. All of this is incredibly familiar because it is effectively the plot of the first game, and that is for a reason. And now we're gonna fight some robots. Ryan, you're in the chat. How did I do? How did I do explaining that? The interesting thing about GW is Metal Gear Solid 2 is weirdly like, oh god, how do I get out? I have to call Snake on the thing a couple times, right? Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of those games that are truly like timeless because it's one of those games that like is almost darkly apocalyptic in nature. Like, it gets so much about the world, about the concept of information and control and people not being who they say they are, right? And like the nature of war. But the one thing, and there was a very interesting video from Leadhead that spoke about this, that it gets wrong is GW's main like thing, the AI, is that it is concerned that people are going to, we've already seen all this, is that people are going to basically flood the internet with random useless information and be so like basically destroy the traditional flow of information, and the AIs have to kind of rein humanity in order to keep things correct. And that's so interesting because we've basically had the opposite happen within the past year. Now it's AIs that are like raining a bunch of gibberish to us. It's a bunch of AIs who are like talking to each other to farm capital. You know, an AI will post a picture being like, look at this picture of Olympic athlete winner Usain Bolt. He is such a good runner. And it's all wrote like that. And then you'll get a bunch of responses in the comments which are like, yes, he is so good at running. I enjoy watching the Olympics. Usain Bolt is an inspirational man. He is good at running. and stuff like that. But you're even getting it now on non AI generated posts. If anything goes viral, you will encounter someone, or you will encounter someone who is saying something that is sort of legible, but is actually an AI. You have AI generated news now, which is just fueling misinformation. It's so fascinating that they got everything right except for this. Oh, the other thing was Olga Golugovich, the mercenary, the cyborg ninja. She's the head of these mercenaries. But she was sent in as well by the Patriots because they have her son. And she was to ensure that Raiden succeeded. So basically the Patriots would have members on both sides of the conflict. They'd have Raiden trying to stop Solidus Snake and the terrorists, but Olga also working with the terrorists. That's a lot of blood.
Raiden, about this colonel of yours. I found out where he is.
Where?
Inside Arsenal.
What?
I've checked out all the possibilities, but
Arsenal
I keep
gear.
coming back to Arsenal. It isn't a relay point, it's the origin of the signal. And the encryption protocol it uses is exactly the same as that of Arsenal's AI, the so-called GW.
What the hell does this mean?
I think it means you've been talking to an AI.
That's impossible.
The kernel probably isn't GW per se. GW was most likely stimulating cortical activity in the dormant part of your brain through signal manipulation of your own nanomachines. The kernel is, in part, your own creation, cobbled together from expectations and experience.
That's crazy.
But it's probably the truth. The virus may be starting to affect GW, which would explain the kernel's behavior.
Oh yeah, all of our codec calls have gone erratic.
Everything I've done so far?
Raiden,
Snake, what's happening around here?
I don't know. What I do know is that you're standing right here in front of me. Not an illusion. Flesh and blood.
Huh?
It's your call. You can drop this if you want.
No, I can't do that. Let's go.
So yeah, Raiden's basically coming to terms with the fact his entire mission has been fake.
Raiden, they've got Rose.
What?
Rose is being held in the holds.
It's a trap.
Rose!
Raiden, get a grip.
But Snake...
It's a trap. Since the Colonel doesn't exist, there's no way he can take Rose hostage.
Yeah, you're right.
I am right.
Okay. Does Rose exist?
Don't be weird. She's your...
What if I've never really met her?
What?
If the Colonel is something that I partly dreamt up, then everything I remember about her could be...
Don't jump to conclusions.
You and Otacon are the ones that say the Colonel never existed.
Raiden.
Is this what Olga was talking about?
Oh, the other thing. Raiden has suppressed memories because he was a child soldier in Liberia who became so proficient that he garnered the nickname Jack the Ripper. And he was a child soldier for Solidus. George Sears, the former president. So Raiden doesn't really trust his memories anymore.
Variety level 7. Shoot down the space invaders. Training will have to be postponed if we are invaded by UFOs.
What happens if I call Rose? Nothing.
There should be a tall ladder on the north wall. Those guys should be at the top. Start climbing.
There's a ladder on the
Oh, food. Yummy, yummy. The lale lule low. Oh yeah, the Patriots have a sensor implanted in people's nanomachines, because like everyone of importance in this series has nanomachines that prevent the words Patriots being said, and instead lale lule lo replaces it. That almost got me again! Which is a bit weird when you think about it, because patriot is a very common word in, like, American politics. We spent so long explaining what's going on. And, like, the Colonel has been saying things to us like, turn off the game console. You know, it's just a game. Which is very much, you know, plays into the theme of, like, VR training and soldiers, and war games. And the digitization of conflict that Hideo Kojima was predicting. Hey, Fortune.
Fortune.
It's been a long wait, Solid Snake. The root of all my sorrows.
What?
2 years ago, you killed my father. That was the beginning of hell for us.
Oh, so I didn't
Everyone
clock
I
this,
love has been taken from me
but
one by one.
her
No
father
matter
was
how
the
hard I try, I
Marine
can't buy
general at the start of
endless
the game.
nightmare. The only
I didn't
thing
clock
we
that.
live for is to see it end. Our wait is almost over.
I did think Hideo Kojima would be a little bit better than be to, like, 2 of the 3 black people are related.
I may as well kill everyone I can. Starting with you, Solid Snake.
Damn! Looks like I'm today's pick. You go on ahead. You want eternal rest? I've got it right here.
What are you gonna do? Bullets can't get near her.
I'll think of something. There's no such thing as a witch.
You think you can kill me?
I don't know what your group's been through, but let's get one thing clear. I didn't kill your father.
Do you think anyone believes your lies?
Raiden, get out of here!
I need to... Fixed.
Jack, I've been watching how you fight. It looks like you've remembered the way you used to kill in the old days. Or is it one of the S3 plan's proud achievements?
What are you talking about?
We don't know what the S3 is yet.
When Ocelot discovered the S3 data from GW. Not a bad idea, though. Using fire to fight fire, creating the perfect assassin to retire Solid Snake's brother. S3 stands for Solid Snake Simulation. It's a development program to artificially reproduce Solid Snake, the perfect warrior. The result is a Foxhound Commando. When Foxhound no longer exists, a simulated Solid Snake shaped by VR regimen. Sound like someone you know, Jack?
So basically,
I'm
he's
sorry to
been
see you reduced to one of the Patriots' puppets.
he's been groomed by the
I've made
Patriots
use of
to
you,
be a
and
a
their
new
plan,
Solid
too.
Snake.
Solid Snake's sudden appearance, your arrival.
It's
It was obvious the Patriots were among my ranks. I had to smoke out the agent before the mission entered the final phase. You came in handy, as bait. Jack, those days during the Civil War were as real as they come. Every day was absolute.
So the reason the mission has been so similar to Shadow Moses, Metal Gear Solid 1, is because
And
they're
now
trying
you've
to
been led
make
back to war by something less
Jack
than real.
into Snake. Alright, let's do this. Okay, I cannot block Ray with my sword. Not there yet. Ow! Oh shit. Well, there goes all of my life. What? I'm taking a few minutes to get back into the flow of things. I've been told that the best thing to do is to shoot these things in the leg, which then causes them to roar and shoot them in the mouth. Need that ration. Ow! And then I should focus on whoever's on the thing with me. Shit. so fucking many of them, dude. Oh yeah, I can just switch to the Nikito if I need to not be in this view, can't I? Oh, hello. Shit. I'm one hit away from death. Fuck! That was pretty good for the first run.
Right? Respond. Right? Raiden!
Fission mailed, chat. Fission mailed. Also, Rainer and Georgie, thank you both for the subs. Bollocks. Okay, let's try and... That was cocky of me. I shouldn't have done that. I was talking to Betty about the fact that I have, you know, started trying my I'm going to stream for longer idea by playing a game I've nearly finished. And then Betty rightfully pointed out, being like, this is a Metal Gear game, Skye. It's going to be like a 3-hour long cutscene at the end. And I was like, oh yeah. Alright, that got rid of RO4 and RO3 and RO2 quickly. Oh, hello. Stop doing that. Huh. Do you know what? David Hayter, the guy who plays Solid Snake, pretty good cast for a Batman. Now that Kevin Conroy is sadly no longer with us. Thinking about it. Hey, babe. How you doing? How was uni? Took a wee bit too long to roll there. Did I do it or did I die? I did it!
I expected a little more fight than that, Jack. So you decided to show yourself.
Oh, but don't do this! They'll know!
I'll hold them off. Give you time to get away.
What about you? This is suicide!
Your nanomachines, they're transmitting your vital signs to the Patriots. If you die, my child dies. You understand?
The child.
I see. So that's why you sold your troops out to me. So many dead, and they all died trusting you! Weren't they your comrades?
No, not just comrades. Family.
Huh?
I know I'm going to help, but at least my child.
I applaud your attitude. If you have a death wish, I'll be happy to accommodate you. See you in hell!
Fucking brutal.
Enjoy the show, Jack. Let's pick up where we left off. What's going on? What's wrong with it? GW, it's out of control. What?
Uh-oh.
I'm reading an abnormal impulse cascade throughout the neural network. I can't shut it down. What happened? Maybe some kind of virus. The Patriots? I don't know. Ocelot, what have you been up to? It's too late. Arsenal's system control is going haywire. It's on an emergency ascent course. Stupid machines!
This guy used to be the president. This is like Barack Obama doing this. I mean, I guess the more immediate comparison would be the Bushes.
Damn the Patriots! You still have some use.
I've captured Snake.
Snake?
Bring him in. Are you awake yet, Jack? GW, the Arsenal AI is corrupted beyond repair. I admit that I underestimated you. I'll squeeze the answers out of you instead, my son.
Hey, Ocelot.
What do you hope to hear? You know he doesn't know anything.
It's not him I want the answers from.
This is the closest scene we get to
What
all
do you
three
mean?
snakes being together.
That's not your business.
Oh, really? It so happens I have some business of my own to attend to.
Planning to hijack Arsenal?
Huh?
You were going to screw me over, weren't you?
Who talked? Ocelot?
Not exactly. I was the one who used Ocelot to suggest the idea to you in the first place.
What?
I was planning to give you Arsenal to begin with.
Why the uncharacteristic generosity?
I'm no philanthropist. Arsenal is far from impregnable. It needs other Metal Gears as guards, a huge payload of warheads, and full air, sea, and land support to function efficiently. Against a large attack force without support, Arsenal is nothing more than a gigantic coffin. Seizing Arsenal gear was never the real objective.
What was your objective then?
A list of names of the Patriots! They were planning to extend their control to digital information flow with GW and Arsenal. That means the information they want to filter out is contained in GW, including that list of the highest 12 members of the Patriots Wiseman's Committee.
And once you knew who they were, you would cross out their names one by one, while we, with our useless arsenal, drew their fire.
Very good.
You were using us all along.
Were you any different?
But your plans hit a snag with GW destroyed, hasn't it?
No, there is another way.
Really? But we have our own plans to carry out. We'll take the arsenal since you don't care for it anyway. The purified hydrogen bomb is ready to go.
A nuclear strike won't stop them.
It will damage their power source. The mindless masses that they control. First things first.
Of course. That was what you wanted.
So the idea is that GW was created to basically censor
Thanks, but I have quite enough of
information
that.
on like a mass scale to make societies more easily controllable, including the names of the Patriots, which is what Solidus wanted. Oh,
What
is Liquid
exactly
here?
do you find so funny?
Charades usually are humorous. I wouldn't have minded watching some more of it, but we're running a little short on time.
What are you talking about?
Everything you've done here has been scripted, a little exercise set up by us.
Exercise?
The S3 plan was conceived as a means to produce soldiers on par with Solid Snake. That's what I told you. But the VR training the boy was put through is not the meat of the project. You think this little terrorist incident is your own doing, Solidus? This is the S3 training kernel. An orchestrated recreation of Shadow Moses.
What?
Oh shit, Ocelot's with the Patriots!
Ames and the president's deaths. The ninja. The computer virus that mimics Foxdie. Did you really think they were all a coincidence? Ames' own nanomachines were used to shut down his pacemaker. I arranged for the appearance of the ninja as well. As for the president, although Johnson realized what was going on, he played out his allotted part. As for the computer virus, it's a digital counterpart of Foxdie. It was also designed to eliminate every scrap of information regarding the Patriots from GW. Your plan was invalidated even before execution, Solidus.
So Ocelot has actually been manipulating everything from behind the scenes.
That man was a different story. He's one of our own people. A sort of examiner we hired to test the boy's progress before letting him tackle the exercise proper. We had to arrange for Stillman's presence to coax the maniac into agreeing. If the boy had allowed the big shell to be destroyed, this exercise would have ended there. The project has no room for failures.
What do you mean?
Given the right situation, the right story, anyone can be shaped into Snake. Even rookies can fight like men of experience. An instant creation of genius. And this training kernel will provide more than enough data to formulate such a program. You, Dead Cell, Olga, you're all nothing. nothing but pawns placed to create the perfect simulation. Solidus, you and the boy were selected because your relationship resembles the one between Snake and Big Boss. Fortune, you and the rest of Dead Cell stand in for the Foxhound squad that Snake took on in Shadow Moses. You're the most impressive collection of freaks outside of Foxhound. We've gone to a lot of trouble to set you up against the boy. That story about purified hydrogen bombs is just the tip of the iceberg. The project was already underway when I sunk that tanker, along with your old man 2 years ago. Throwing your husband in the brig was a part of it too. You were told that the eradication of Dead Cell 6 months ago was an act of the Patriots. We provoked and encouraged your hatred. And you opted for vengeance, just as we planned.
All orchestrated?
Except for the appearance of the real Solid Snake. I wonder now who sent for you.
All our misfortune was just a part of their project? How could...
You're no Lady Luck. You have nothing that we didn't give you.
What?
Do you know why no bullet could hit you? It wasn't magic, or some new age mumbo-jumbo. Certainly wasn't your psychic talents. It was all staged by the Patriots.
Staged?
You were being shielded by the electromagnetic weapons technology that the Patriots developed. Your Dead Cell comrades loved your father and husband. We needed a pathetic wretch like you to keep them focused. You've been our puppet all along, just like Olga.
No.
You were hamming it up as the tragic heroine, thanks to the script that the Patriots wrote for you. Pure self-indulgence, absorbed in your own misfortune. You couldn't get enough of the drama.
I could have died whenever I wanted to.
Thought I got her in the heart.
It missed.
Now I remember. Your heart's on the right. Waste of metal, my dear, but your luck's run out. This is the little gizmo. There's no such thing as miracles or the supernatural. Only cutting-edge technology.
So, yeah. I don't think I need to really explain any of that. But, I had a point. I can't remember what it is.
Now that I have enough data, all I have to do is retrieve Arsenal and clean up the refuse from the exercise.
Just try.
Anyone have any questions while this is going on?
Fortune!
You idiot! Get the hell away from there!
I told you, your luck's run out. Take your reward. It's all the payload Ray has. Die!
Everybody down!
Maybe she does have some magic powers.
What the? Impossible!
She is Lady Luck.
My name is Helena Dolph Jackson, the daughter of a proud and noble soldier. I can see my family again.
Damn! Try this instead. No!
Brother! Haha, Liquid's back.
No! No, not now!
Brothers! Liquid! I've been waiting for this! It can't be.
So the possession by the arm is real.
I've been inside this arm all along, waiting for the right time to awaken.
You were inside Ocelot?
Yes, a sleeper in the arm of a Patriot spy.
It was you 2 years ago?
Exactly. I was controlling him. Snake, it was I that leaked information about Arsenal to your partner and got you out here.
What?
You're the only one that can free me. After all, I'm off to bury the Patriots for good.
You know where they are? How?
Why do you think I chose Ocelot as my host? But before I go, I have a family matter to settle with both of you. There's room for only one Snake and one big boss.
I love how they just like, they hate each other so much that even though all three of them want the same thing, they are just incapable of agreeing. Like, they all want to take down the Patriots.
Liquid! Stop this thing!
Hey, Snake! You coming?
Hey, lesbian. So, is anyone confused by what the fuck is going on? Because this is the point that normally people go, wait, I don't get it. Do let me know in the chat if you have any questions. You've seen enough of, yeah. Secret. It's quite interesting that they all have the all three snakes have the same goal, but are incapable of working with each other. Thematically, that's quite interesting for reasons that we will get into in future installments. But there very much is a story here about, like, the way in which we treat people, specifically the way in which, like, older generations treat younger generations.
What are you laughing at? Do you know what day it is today?
April 30th?
That's right. George Washington took office as the first president of the United States of America 200 years ago today. And it happened right here. We were going to declare another independence, the dawn of a new nation, here. The end of the Patriots' secret rule, liberation of this country. This was where it was supposed to begin. This is where freedom could have been born.
All you want is power at any cost.
Jack, it's not power I want. What I wanted to take back from the Patriots are things like freedom, civil rights, opportunities. The founding principles of this country. Everything that's about to be wiped out by their digital censorship. Jack, listen to me. We're all born with an expiration date. No one lasts forever. Life is nothing but a grace period for turning the best of our genetic material into the next generation. The data of life is transferred from parent to child. That's how it works. But we have no heirs, no legacy. We brothers are called les enfants terribles, cloned from our father, with the ability to reproduce conveniently engineered out. What is our legacy if we cannot pass the torch? Proof of our existence, a mark of some sort.
What no sex does to a motherfucker.
When the torch is passed on from parent to child, it extends beyond DNA. Information is imparted as well. All I want is to be remembered by other people, by history. The Patriots are trying to protect their power, their
George,
interests,
you
by
were
controlling
president.
The digital flow of information. I want my memory, my existence to remain. Unlike an intron of history, I will be remembered as an exon. That will be my legacy, my mark in history. But the Patriots would deny us even that. I will triumph over the Patriots and liberate us all, and we will become the Sons of Liberty!
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives, through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
Being cancelled on Twitter.com.
Preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context?
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths.
Fake news.
Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you?
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a concept you conveniently borrowed under the logic that would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap!
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best, and you got there all by yourself.
Oh, what happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
You've done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
The individual is supposed to be weak, but far from powerless. A single person has the potential to ruin the world.
And the age of digitized communication has given even more power to the individual. Too much power for an immature species.
Building a legacy involves figuring out what is wanted and what needs to be done for that goal. All this you used to struggle with. Now we think for you.
We are your guardians, after all.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course. Anything can be quantified nowadays. That's what this exercise was designed to prove.
You fell in love with me just as you were meant to, after all. Isn't that right, Jack?
Ocelot was not told the whole truth, to say the least.
We rule an entire nation. Of what interest would a single soldier, no matter how able, be to us?
The S3 plan does not stand for solid snake simulation. What it does stand for is selection for societal sanity. The S3 is a system for controlling human will and consciousness. S3 is not you, a soldier trained in the image of Solid Snake. It is a method, a protocol that created a circumstance that made you what you are.
So you see, we're the S3, not you.
What you experienced was the final test of its effectiveness.
That's crazy.
You heard what President Johnson said.
The Arsenal's GW system is the key to their supremacy.
The objective of this exercise was to establish such a method. We used Shadow Moses as a paradigm for the exercise.
I wonder if you would have preferred a fantasy setting.
We chose that backdrop because of its extreme circumstances. It was an optimal test for S3's crisis management capacity. If the model could trigger, control, and solve this, it would be ready for any contingency. And now, we have our proof. Raiden, there are also reasons behind your selection. Solidus raised plenty of other child soldiers. Do you know why we chose you over them? It was because you were the only one who refused to acknowledge the past. All the others remember what they were and pay for it daily.
But you turn your back on everything you don't like. You do whatever you like, see only the things you like, and for yourself alone.
Yes, Rose can attest to that.
You refused to see me for what I was. I lied to you, but I wanted to be caught. You pretended to be understanding, to be a gentleman. You never made a conscious attempt to reach out to me. The only time you did was when I gave you no choice but to do so.
I was just trying not to...
What? Trying not to hurt me? Dear, the one you were trying not to hurt was yourself. Avoiding the truth under the guise of kindness is all that you did. It occurred to you to do nothing but look out for yourself. Even if you claim that it was for my sake, that feeling was nowhere to be seen. In the end, everything was for your sake. I was never part of the picture.
Exactly right. So you see, you're a perfect representative of the masses we need to protect. This is why we chose you. You accepted the fiction we've provided, obeyed our orders, and did everything you were told to. The exercise is a resounding success.
Didn't I tell you that GW is still incomplete? But not anymore, thanks to you.
Your persona, experiences, triumphs, and defeats are nothing but byproducts. The real objective was ensuring that we could generate and manipulate them. It's taken a lot of time and money, but it was well worth it considering the results. I think that's enough talk. It's time for the final exercise. Raiden, take Solidus down.
Think again. I'm through doing what I'm told.
Oh, really? Aren't you forgetting something?
If you die, my child dies.
The termination of vital signals from your nanomachines means the death of Olga's child. Not to mention the death of Rose. She's wired the same way.
Rose, does she actually exist?
Of course I do, Jack. You have to believe me.
Damn!
It will be a fight to the death.
Solidus at least wants you dead.
We will collect the necessary data from this last fight. Then we'll consider the exercise closed. So, Jack the Ripper, will it be Solidus, the Patriot's creation, or you, Solidus's creation? Our beloved monsters, enjoy yourselves.
Jack, my son. My clone brothers and I are called monsters, replicates of evil genes. You are one of a kind, but still a monster, shaped by a dark and secret history. We need to decide which monstrosity will have the privilege of survival. By the way, Jack, I was the one who killed your parents. I claimed you for my own and raised you as a soldier in the army of the devil. I am your foster father and your worst enemy.
Why?
Because I needed to know whether we were really someone else's creation. We're repeating history, Jack. Liquid and Solid hunted down Big Boss, trying to sever the tie that bound them to him. Unless you kill me and face your past, Jack, you will never escape. You'll stay in the endless loop. Your own double helix. It's time we were both free. I have other reasons for wanting you dead. The clues to the Patriots inside GW have been erased, but there are other traces. Inside you.
What?
The information is being carried by the nanomachines in your cerebral cortex, and throughout the neural network they've formed.
So before we do all that, yeah, so it's quite interesting. This the Patriots basically want to filter and shepherd information because they believe that the ability to just shove shit onto the internet effectively will stagnate humanity. And in a way, they're not entirely wrong, and that's the weird thing about it. But it's so interesting to, exist in a time where we're dealing with AI content, where we're having a bunch of AIs constantly scraping the internet and talking to each other in order to generate ad revenue, like minuscule amounts of ad revenue. Vaguely gesture. Yeah, no, you're completely right, Legendary Super Lesbian. Betty, could you do me a favor and link in the chat that Leadhead video I told you about? It'll be her newest one. I think that it'll be a great supplement for everyone to watch once we're done with Metal Gear Solid 2. But it's very interesting to watch the way in which a game's message is validated and then invalidated in the same breath of modern understanding. And like, the thing I find so interesting is this idea of like repetition. Also throw the link in the Discord when you find it. It's Leadhead, Leadhead. Like, Big Boss becomes the world's greatest soldier and spy. Fear of losing him leads to the creation of Les Enfants Terribles. Solid defeats Big Boss and becomes the world's greatest soldier and spy. Solidus, being aware of Les Enfants Terribles, breaks free from it, kills Jack's parents, and recruits him as a young child soldier and trains him to be the world's greatest soldier and spy. And like, it's the way in which this history will continue with, and then the Patriots take Raiden and use him to generate not only the perfect soldier in the sense of creating Solid Snake, but also an example that they can take this pathetic, whiny nobody, which is what Raiden has always been accused of being by the fan base, and sculpt him into whatever they want using the correct pieces of information, which is their goal, is to take society as a whole and sculpt it in a certain way. And it's so interesting that all the criticisms of Raiden, he's whiny, he's annoying, he's very effeminate, they work on two levels, because he's supposed to be the opposite of Snake. Raiden's cocky in like a way that's annoying. He's not self-assured, but he always assumes that he's correct. And as the AI demonstrated, he's quite selfish. Whereas Snake is cocky, but in a kind of cool way. He constantly asks questions, though, and he's ultimately very selfless because he's a hero who's willing to sacrifice himself for the betterment of humanity. And the idea that the programs, the simulations, can shape someone like Raiden into being someone like Snake is the perfect example of the way in which, we are shaped by our situations and the information around us. We are, what is the concept of self? Are we just a reflection of those that of the things that we have experienced, or do we have something that could be understood as a soul? Anyway, let's kick our dad's ass with a sword.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Is that the best one?
Okay, I need to wait for him to attack me before I can do anything. And I need to avoid these. Ow.
Let's go. What's wrong with you?
Oh shit! I didn't know I could fall off the roof. It's interesting how we don't have anyone, like, this is, because this is really like, who is Raiden? You know, he has to, you know, still do the Patriots' bidding to save Olga's child. But also, like, he has no one in his corner now. I wonder if I can make those rockets hit him. There's something to be said about Kojima's ability to make hours of cutscenes on political and philosophical issues that continue to be relevant decades. Hang on.
What's wrong with you?
Continue to be relevant decades after the game was made. And still every other sentence contain either conspiracy theory or an action movie reference. I'm not sure what there is to say exactly, but I'm sure someone knows. I know! Hideo Kojima looks at the world through an absurdist lens. He is very clearly a foreigner looking in at the Western world and treating it for as ridiculous as it actually is. We are a society who are fueled by action movies, who are fueled by conspiratorial thinking. The idea that we're part of something bigger and that we're all heroes in our own story is very important to the themes of Metal Gear Solid, because every individual has the ability to do great things, but every individual, more often than not, doesn't. They either do bad things or they just don't do great things and they become complacent to a societal control. It's an absurdist view of Western politics and media. There's a very key thing, like, the Patriots don't control the world. They control America. And I know there are later games where it's like there are also the Russian branches of the Patriots and the Chinese branch of the Patriots, but very much the early games are centered in America, and there's a reason for that. It's not a story about world domination. It's a story about societal domination. And yeah, there was Jack mentioned something in one of his codec conversations with Rose, where he's like, we were shown action movies every day in order to be trained how to be killers. You know, we wanted to all be Clint Eastwood and whatever, and that's by design. That is an actual way of indoctrinating child soldiers. What I absolutely love about Hideo is that he's like me for real, in the sense that, like, he's staunchly anti-war and anti-violence, and he believes in the concept of bringing people together, but also he thinks things like fighter jets are cool. He likes the aesthetic of military rather than the actual use of it. Because, like, even looking a bit forwards at, you know, what Hideo, you know, would go on to make with Death Stranding, it's very much like... It's very much, you know, it's a story about reconnecting America. And you know, not just connecting physical locations, but reconnecting people. Solidus is going to kick my ass. I need to remember to use the block. Stop setting me on fire!
Ready to give up, Jack?
Ah!
Is that the best you can do? All right.
I'm trying my best.
What's wrong with you?
It's a ration in the corner of that roof.
What's wrong
Ow.
with you?
This is a hard boss fight.
Take this. Is that the best you can do?
Stop setting me on fire, Dad!
Is that the best you can do? Let's go.
I think one of the things I like about Metal Gear Solid is that, like, once you get the controls down, or like the flow of a boss battle, it's fairly consistent. The only question is, I wonder how you get Solidus's dog tags.
Good work, Jack. But this is where it gets interesting.
Oh, this is where it gets interesting.
Let's go. Over here.
Right, you have to beat Solidus. This is your last duty.
We're not just pawns in some simulation game, you know.
Yes, you are. We're nothing but mere weapons. No different from fighter jets or tanks.
What the?
The old model destroyed 4 years ago was Rex.
The new amphibious model is Ray.
Both of these are the same as the code names used by the U.S. Armed Forces to refer to Japanese warplanes during World War II.
Your code name, Raiden, too, comes from the Japanese Navy's name for one of its interceptors.
Stop it. I'm not a weapon.
Oh, really? Do you know the code name the U.S. Armed Forces used for the Japanese fighter Raiden?
It was Jack. Both of you are just weapons to be used and thrown away.
Just weapons to be used on the battlefield. Just pawns in a game. Exactly as you said.
And a weapon has no right to think for itself. Now, it's time to fulfill your purpose. Defeat Solidus.
Is that the best you could do?
Dad, I was on the phone. Ow! Shit, it's getting close. Oh, it's gonna be fucking close, chat. Basically, whoever gets the next sequence in. Defeat Solidus Snake. That was an Akira Kurosawa reference. Oh, if you want a bit of symbolism, by the way, Jack having been chained but is now free. There's some other symbolism for you, is Solidus desperately reaching to try and be the next George Washington, having been defeated by the plans of GW, who is named after George Washington.
Who am I, really? No one quite knows who or what they are. The memories you have and the role you were assigned are burdens you had to carry. It doesn't matter if they were real or not. That's never the point. There's no such thing in the world as absolute reality. Most of what they call real is actually fiction. What you think you see is only as real as your brain tells you it is.
Then, what am I supposed to believe in? What am I going to leave behind when I'm through?
We can tell other people about having faith. What we had faith in. What we found important enough to fight for. It's not whether you were right or wrong, but how much faith you were willing to have. That decides the future. The Patriots are a kind of ongoing fiction too, come to think of it. Listen, don't obsess over words so much. Find the meaning behind the words, then decide. You can find your own name. And your own future.
Decide for myself?
And whatever you choose will be you.
I don't know if I can.
I know you didn't have much in terms of choices this time. But everything you felt, thought about during this mission is yours. And what you decide to do with them is your choice.
You mean start over?
Yeah, a clean slate, a new name, new memories. Choose your own legacy. It's for you to decide. It's up to you. By the way, what is that?
Dog tags.
Anyone you know?
No, never heard the name before. I'll pick my own name, and my own life. I'll find something worth passing on. They taught me some good things, too.
I know. We've inherited freedom from all those who fought for it. We all have the freedom to spread the word, even me.
Snake, what about Olga's child?
Don't worry, I'll find him. Count on it. As long as you keep yourself alive, he's safe.
Do you know where Liquid went?
I put a transmitter on his ray.
Did he head for the Patriots?
Yeah, but I have a feeling they gave Ocelot a bogus location to begin with. Cheer up, we have a better lead. This contains the list of all the Patriots.
But Ocelot took it.
The one we gave you wasn't the real thing.
What?
This virus is coded to destroy only a specific part of GW, namely the information about the Patriot's identity. Which means that there's a parameter coded in here that defines what that information is.
I get it. Analyze the code and you can probably find out where they operate. Count me in.
No, you have things to do first. And people you need to talk to.
Hi, Rose.
Snake?
What's wrong?
Nothing. Can I ask you something? Who am I, really?
I wouldn't know. But we're going to find out together, aren't we?
Oh. Yeah.
See me for what I am, okay?
I know.
There's some accidental symbolism there that I'm going to talk about.
Do you remember this place?
Of course. This is where we first met. I remember now.
Hmm?
Today is the day I met you.
That's it.
My favorite little detail is the fact that Rose was planted. Like, so she's like, okay, and she studied. She studied Raiden, so she's like, okay, what can I do?
All living things want their genes to live on.
What can I do to get this man's attention?
Yeah. The genes aren't.
I know, I'll get King Kong incorrect.
Things that aren't written into our DNA. It's up to us to teach that to our children.
What kind of things?
About the environment, our ideas, our culture, poetry, compassion, sorrow, joy. We'll tell them everything together.
Is that a proposal?
This is for your ears only.
Like, it would work on me. I'll get just a fact really wrong about a movie I know he likes, and that, I know they like, and then I'd be like, you son of a bitch! Wrong.
I stare at the stars and the sky.
So this game ends on like a
And think, what am
like a
made of?
how do I describe it? This game ends on, you know, a rather positive note for Raiden, And, like, we know, in hindsight, Raiden comes back in future games. And he gradually... Okay, we're going to talk about slight spoiler. Raiden ends up becoming a cyborg? Phil Lamar was Vamp, yeah. Raiden comes back as a cyborg. Like, he literally gives more and more of himself to fighting. So it's quite interesting that he has these whole broken handcuff things. And then right at the end, when he puts his hands on Rose's face, the handcuffs reform. And it's like, oh no! We've accidentally created symbolism for the idea that Raiden's gonna continue to live in this endless spiral of violence and never find himself. Also, can we just point out that Natasha Romanenko is credited as the author of In the Shadow of Shadow Moses? As in the character from the previous game, the nuclear weapons expert, is in the credits of the very real video game. Because there were points in that game where, like, Snake was talking about, you know, like, everything you thought in this mission, all the feelings, they're yours. I know you didn't have a lot of choice this time. He's not just talking to Raiden, he's talking to the player, because this game is a lot more scripted than the previous Metal Gears. The fourth wall doesn't really exist in the Metal Gear franchise. Like, the characters are aware that they are in video games, but they're also aware that their story is fiction. But what is fiction? Many of what people believe to be reality is fiction. So does it really matter? Do human beings have souls? So, questions we still have. Who are the Patriots? What happens to Olga's child? Where's Liquid going? What are all these things we still need to find out? What happens to Raiden? What happens to Snake and Otacon? How the fuck does Liquid possess Revolver Ocelot through his arm? The arm famously holds the brain, as we all know. So I know all of them, but I'm setting it up for the next stream. These are questions that will be answered soon. Reiner, are you still in the chat? Because I have a Metal Gear question to throw at you. See, Metal Gear Solid VR missions is... they're canon. So here's the question. Do we play Peace Walker when we finish Metal Gear Solid 3? Police nods, and at the end is Metal Gear Ghost Babel? That's the one. That's the game that acts... Okay, So Metal Gear Ghost Babel is like a recreation of Metal Gear Solid on the Game Boy, if I remember correctly. And then at the end, once you 100% it, it's like, you've completed your VR training. You're ready for your next mission. And the character's like, yes, I'm ready for my next mission. And it's like, oh, that's Raiden. It's like a non-canon Metal Gear game that accidentally is the first appearance of Raiden. Helvetica is a trademark of the Linotype Corp, registered in the US Patent and Trademark Offices. The HD Remaster Unit. Hey Konami, maybe you should have treated Kojima better when he worked for you.
Life isn't just about passing on your genes. We can leave behind much more than just DNA. Through speech, music, literature, and movies, what we've seen, heard, felt, anger, joy, and sorrow. These are the things I will pass on. That's what I live for. We need to pass the torch and let our children read our messy and sad history by its light. We have all the magic of the digital age to do that with. The human race will probably come to an end sometime, and new species may rule over this planet. Earth may not be forever, but we still have the responsibility to leave what traces of life we can. Building the future and keeping the past alive are one and the same thing.
Snake, you there? It's me. I've finished going over that disc.
Did you find the Patriots list?
Of course. It contains the personal data of 12 people. There was a name on it. Snake, it was one of our biggest contributors.
What's going on around here?
I don't know.
Anyway, where are they?
Well, we were right about them being on Manhattan, but...
But what?
They're already dead. All 12 of them.
When did it happen?
Well, about 100 years ago.
What the hell?
Who are the Patriots then? Only 47 alerts is actually pretty decent for me. You got a camera. You got a camera. Arsenal Gears Rectum. And that was Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty HD Edition. Hang on, let me end the video recording for the Let's Play Metal Gear. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed watching Metal Gear Solid 2 with me, Skye Blacke. Consider joining us live on Twitch. We stream 2 times a week on Mondays and Thursdays at around 7, 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. So I hope you enjoyed watching. If you haven't seen all of the other parts, there's a playlist. Should be linked in the description below. Hope you enjoy. And I'll see you in whatever we do next. Goodbye.